Welcome to the Answers for Elders radio show. Meet the trusted experts who will give you straight answers and will help guide you on the path of later life care. Now, here's your host, founder, caregiver, and CEO, Suzanne Newman.
And welcome back, everyone, to Answers for Elders Radio Network. And again, we are here with Kelley Dennings, who is part of the Center of Biological Diversity. And they're a national organization that helps us understand the ecosystem in which we live. And Kelley, it's been so great having you on the show today. You guys you've set initiatives, you have helped, basically helped governments, organizations, etc. It's really centered around making people be more mindful, no matter what role they're in. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I think we work at multiple levels. So we definitely see that individual behavior change is important. But we know we also have some systems that we work within that need changing, right?
Right.
But I want to wake up every morning, think that I have free will to make good in this world.
Well, and I can't imagine you wake up every day knowing you're making a difference, and not everybody can say that,
Right.
And certainly the need for a healthy ecosystem is it's a huge goal. It's something that, there's so many things that we've slipped backwards on in the world and we're having to bring that back. And, some of it's gone for good. Like we say, with climate change, there's a lot of situations where we're not going to be able to reverse that, And so those are things that I think are very powerful for what you do in your role. So, you obviously, talk a lot about nature and our environment. We just touched on it, but would you kind of explain nature's relationship to human beings?
Yeah, sure. Having a healthy ecosystem isn't just good for wildlife. I mean,
Right.
if we want to be a little selfish, it's good for us.
Right.
So when I did my master's research, I read about how spending time in nature is good for us physically and mentally.
Yes.
And, results show that connecting with nature is a good preventative health mechanism. So there's like this group called DocRx. I don't know if you've heard, I think, what is it? Nature RX.
Oh.
And they write prescriptions that say, like, get out in nature. This is going to help you. And then some of the other research I found.
Vitamin D.
Yeah, vitamin D, exactly. That, even looking at pictures of nature invokes this sense of awe, which brings you good feelings and well-being.
Absolutely.
So they put those in hospitals. They put those in, communities and things like that, so that we feel as if we're out in nature. So I will say, when my dad was in the nursing home, we would regularly walk him around the nearby park. Thankfully, there was one close and it was very accessible. And then we also got him a fish tank, so we put a fish tank in his room. So it's so important to bring nature to the person if it's difficult to get out in nature.
Yes.
Because it
love
really
that.
does help.
And also just, you talk about that, but getting out in nature and getting that vitamin D is so important to prevent, depression. And, when we go into, certain climates, like where I live in Puget Sound, depression is really higher because there's a lack of vitamin D in our, in our environment. That's, of course, changing a lot. But the whole point is, I think that, to understand our symbiosis with nature and how it supports us, even though we sit inside. Everything we do inside our home was created from nature, right? So all of those things are dependable. Now, you talk a little bit briefly about, we talked about gardening earlier. What are some other ways that gardening can help us sustain a sustainable life?
Well, it's got good mental health impacts, right? That we
Yes.
just talked about. And you can do this, I will say, inside again. So
Sure.
my mom has a great hydroponic system.
Yes.
Where, she's getting lettuce, healthy eating, right? She's growing her own vegetables, lettuce, herbs, and tomatoes from an inside hydroponic. But I was one of those that, started gardening during COVID, and I was just doing it in container pots.
Yeah.
So it really can be a very accessible hobby that has so many benefits. And then that is increasing our pollinators and, also good for the environment. So it's that two-way street between us and the environment.
Yeah. And I think what you're saying too is, if you're growing your own vegetables and you're gardening and you're doing that sustainably and organically, not only you're going to eat healthier, but you're going to have a better quality of life. You're going to get out in the, if you have a yard that you can put things in a raised garden bed or something like that, it's not hard to raise things like that, to live more sustainably. And the other thing is, obviously, is to compost. Compost is a really wonderful way of creating, again, putting it back into the environment, back where it came from. And I think that's important as well.
Yeah, for sure. It's 40%. We throw away 40% of edible food. It's just
my
ridiculous.
Goodness sakes. It's, and that's the sad part, really, isn't it? So obviously, I want to know if people want to get involved with the Center for Biological Diversity, how can they do that?
Biologicaldiversity.org would be the first place to start. And we really want to help you all build people power. So, we know that people need information. So come and sign up for our newsletters, sign one of our action alerts, attend one of our events. We were just at the big New York City March, but again, we have these virtual film screenings that you can do. We like to say, not only do we want to win in the courts, but in the court of public opinion. So please write a letter to your editor, find that topic that is important to you, and talk about it within your community. And then the last thing is, I would be remiss if I didn't say, please donate.
Yes, absolutely. And most certainly, or any organization that is dear to your heart, because, and I'm sure if you're interested in, maybe you want to make the water cleaner, you guys have connections to, non-government associations or different types of, or government resources. Do you not?
Yes. We actually have various regions across the country that work and know their local geography and the local ecosystem.
Perfect.
We work really hard to protect our public lands. So if getting out in nature is important to you, that would be a great place to start.
Thank you so much, Kelley, for being on the show. And we are so grateful to talk about this very important topic.
Time to get back to Suzanne and more Answers for Elders.
I would like to thank our guest, Kelley Dennings from the Center for Biological Diversity. And if you think about the world in which you live, think about where you are, think about the term ecosystem, which has to do with everything around you. And if you're interested in the information that we shared with you today, please reach out to their website, which is biologicaldiversity.org. We hope you're enjoying the Vitality Revolution, the program that we have going forward. And until next week, be good to each other. We at Answers for Elders thank you for listening. Did you know that you can discover hundreds of podcasts in our library on senior care? So visit our website and discover our decision guides that will help you also navigate decision making. Find us at answersforelders.com.